Now what we need to do is put these standard deviation values somehow graphically onto our graph of the mean proboscis length for these two butterfly species. Right, so we need to somehow incorporate these standard deviation values 2.3, 3.7, 0.05, 0.07 onto this graph. All right, so what we want to do first off is add each of these standard deviation values to this graph as error bars. Right, so we've seen that in the presentations that I've given you. Now let's try to actually incorporate it into the graph. It's fairly simple. So what you first need to do is come over here to the graph and control click on one of the data columns. You'll see it highlights both since they're in the same series. And you want to go to Format Data Series. Up will come this window, and you can see the third option down is error bars. So you want to, on display, you want error bars on both ends. You want caps on both ends. It looks better. And we want to customize the value for our standard deviations. Now you can see right now, back over here in this graph, it's defaulting to some number, probably 1. Yes. And both of these columns have the same standard deviation, but that's not really true. Remember back over here in our when we looked at our raw data, 2.3 for AC and 3.7 for AB. We want to then specify these values. So go to Custom, Specify Value. All right. And what we need to do now is select these two standard deviations, 2.3 and 3.7. So we click here for the positive. This is going to go up from the mean. And we click and we highlight the two that we're interested in. All right. And then we just go back to this. Now, when we're doing these error bars, we want plus and minus standard deviation from the mean. So we want the same values really for the negative error value. So we again click here and highlight the 2.3 and 3.7. Click back and click OK. Now what we should have, if you look over here before we click OK, let's check it out. Yeah, we have two different error bars. A smaller one for Acytheria, and Basiloides, we have a bigger one, 3.7. Is that right? Let's see. Looks about right. Okay, so we click OK. And the last thing that we need to do, and you shouldn't forget this, or you're going to drop points on your graph, is you need to write in a little statement here. Error bars represent plus slash minus 1 S period D period. Okay, and it's implied that it's from the mean because it's a bar graph. Okay, great. So we just met all of our requirements there. Let's stretch this out, make it look a little bit better. What the heck? Well, let's just leave it for now. You get the point. But again, now we have this representation of standard deviation showing the variability in the data sets graphically with use of these error bars.